record them with the camera so that if the video is weird on Facebook, we have another copy.
Right.
How was your workout?
Workout's good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was tired today. It was hard. As I told you, I went to failure on squats.
So explain what that means.
Basically means you go to squat with weight on your back, you go down, but come up.
So fortunately, he was on the rack where they had the
safety
support,
bars,
the safety bar, so he was just able to set it and kind of come out from underneath it.
Right.
So for those of you who don't know, squatting, you put weight on your shoulders and you go down and come back up. So how many years has it been since you've squatted to failure?
I don't even remember the last time, so I don't know.
So basically, he doesn't want to be able to walk up the stairs tomorrow, is what that tells me. So what do you think happened? Because where in your workout did you do squats?
So I did leg extensions first. So I did legs today, by the way, for those who not
We haven't figured that out. He did legs today.
So I did leg extensions and I did an extra set, extra heavy today. So I already went
So he was
heavy.
tired and he went heavy today.
Right. And then I went to squats and that was my
56th.
It was the
set.
6th set.
Yeah, 56th rep.
Right. Of squats. And, I just, let me give it a shot.
And it didn't work.
Well, I got 5 reps. The 6th one just didn't come up.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I did cardio today, so I rode the exercise bike for, 70 minutes or something. So I'm sweaty and gross and I need a shower. But what are you having for breakfast?
Coffee.
Yeah, he got coffee. I did not yet.
As you can see, my oatmeal's almost done. I still have to put in la banana.
And I have a meeting at 10:30, so I'm guessing I'll have tea or something there. So I did not get any coffee today. But so it's Friday.
It's
which is
Friday.
Good. Hey, Allison, it's good to see you.
Morning, Allison.
From Texas.
Yes.
You're welcome. We're going to do a quick wrap up today. Give you guys, in case you missed a day, or you maybe every once in a while I share something in a wrap up that I didn't say before because I find something different in my notes. So we'll do that really quickly. On Monday, we talked about how to detox your body and what that looks like. And the first thing I told you was the first thing you have to do if you want to detox your body is stop taking in pollutants. Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of a no-brainer, but people don't think about that. And one of the things that I told you that is has a lot of lead in it that people don't realize is animal broth. Mm-hmm. So chicken broth, bone broth, beef
Happy
broth.
Friday,
Hey, Laura. It's good to see you. And the reason that it does, so I also mentioned to you that if you're old enough to remember when there was lead gasoline, you probably have lead in your bones because that's what the body does with lead, is it traps it in your bones so it doesn't cause damage.
And I used to work at a gas station. I used to pump leaded gasoline, so I might have more exposure than most.
Yes, absolutely. And because of that, lead is still in the ground and so lead is still in our environment. So you want to make sure, because you probably have lead in your bones, you want to make sure your bones stay healthy, because if your bones start leaching calcium to reduce acidity or whatever your bones, as you age, you want to keep your bones healthy, because if they start to leach calcium, that lead is also going to be released, and you don't want that to be happening. Right. So make sure you're keeping your bones healthy. That's one thing you can do. Don't drink or use or cook with bone broth, beef broth, chicken broth, any broth,
any animal,
because when they make broth, what they do is they use the excess, the extra, the leftover stuff from when they slaughter animals, and guess what? Bones are part of that, and animals' bones have lead in them too, and so when you boil them, guess what? It leaches the lead out into the broth that they then serve. Now, that lead is perfectly within legal limits. They're not doing anything illegal. The government said it's perfectly fine. Right. I would just recommend against it. Yes. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah. They're really, I thought I read an article yesterday that said there's no such thing as a safe level of lead. There's just a acceptable level of lead.
Right, exactly. That's exactly true. And especially for children. So if you have children, I would definitely recommend that you use vegetable broth as opposed to animal or bone broth for your children.
And that even goes for if you think making it yourself is any better. It's not. Like you have a leftover whole chicken, and you want to make broth from it. Don't do it.
Yeah, well, we don't recommend you have leftover chicken because we don't recommend you eat chicken. That's a whole separate conversation.
Road to go down.
And then on Tuesday, in kind of following up on the detox kind of idea, we talked about the liver, because your liver is your detox organ, so that would make sense. And we talked about how to have a healthy liver. And a couple of things we talked about is that poultry viruses, things from handling raw poultry meat, cause liver damage, cause liver cancer and pancreas cancer. And people who work in poultry slaughterhouses have much higher, up to 9% nine times higher. I can talk today, really I can. 9 times higher risk of those kind of cancers because they handle raw chicken 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. But just because you handle it less doesn't mean the risk isn't there. So we definitely want to let you know about that. Hey, Valerie,
Morning,
it's good to see you this morning.
Happy Friday to everybody.
So if you're handling raw chicken, you are exposing yourself to chicken viruses that, we've talked about salmonella before, but this, chicken viruses are apparently very bad for your liver. But things that you can eat that are good for your liver is broccoli and broccoli sprouts. You want to look at your notes?
Sure.
And I can show you, so I have a new one. I showed you my broccoli sprouts on Tuesday they're almost gone now. We ate all of them, so there's only not very many left. So I started some new ones. These are the seeds that I just soaked overnight, and I'll pour the water out of those and they'll be ready to eat in about 2 days. Broccoli sprouts are super easy. As you can see, I just use a glass jar with a coffee filter over the top held in place with a rubber band.
Right.
You want to share
some
stuff?
Basically, foods that appear to promote liver health is green tea, and that's not green tea supplements,
Not the supplements.
which is harmful to the liver.
Harmful to the liver,
Right.
yep.
Cruciferous vegetables.
That's your broccoli and your kale and your cauliflower and your crunchy dark green things.
Right. Indian gooseberries, which is the amla powder that we use, and if you want to get that, it's available on our website on the resources
On the resources page, rnrjourney.com, on the resources page.
That's AMLA. Turmeric, which we use every morning in our oatmeal. And if you're going to use turmeric, put a little dash of black pepper in there because it makes it more bioavailable to your system.
Yep.
Whole grains, which is pretty obvious, I think. Chlorella, and we talked about chlorella.
Chlorella is basically a pond scum, and we talked about it and spirulina. There's kind of back and forth on that. Spirulina can be polluted and be toxic to the liver, so chlorella is a better option. We don't have any yet. We need to find some. We need to get flour today, so maybe when we go to the store, we'll look at some chlorella.
Right.
I can't even say it now. Never mind.
Chlorella.
There you go.
She talked about the broccoli sprout, but it also lists broccoli. But it also talks about things that are possibly protective against liver cancer in specific. And that's black beans, cranberries. I don't know anybody who's grown up and not heard that cranberries were good for the liver. I mean, I've always...
And they're good for your
Right.
bladder, all of that. Like, they're just good for you.
Coffee, 23 ounces or less.
Black.
Dietary phytates, which are found in beans. So beans, as we said already.
Beans some more.
Right. Whole grains, we already mentioned that. Nuts and seeds.
So basically, if you eat whole food plant-based, it's good for your liver. Now, one thing I did want to tell you, and I mentioned this, but I think it's important, so I want to mention it again, is that when you're eating cruciferous vegetables, the thing that's actually good for your liver is what the plants release that is supposed to protect them from being eaten. It's kind of the little bit of bitter taste that raw broccoli will have. And that comes from two chemicals, a chemical and enzyme mixing when you crush their cells, because that's their, hey, don't eat me, defense mechanism. Which means if you're eating, once you cook it, the enzyme gets killed, and so you don't get that combination. So you can have two options. You can either chop it and leave it sit for 40 minutes and let it do its thing, which who has time for that?
Yeah, if you have time for that, fantastic.
Or chop them in the morning and eat them in the afternoon. That's a great option. If you're eating frozen, the enzyme's already been killed because they do blanch them. The whole purpose of blanching is to kill enzymes and stuff that's on them from the field. So they blanch them so that it's gone, and then you're like, okay, well, great, I want to eat broccoli, but how am I supposed to get this enzyme and chemical reaction that I need if that's the problem? So what you can do is you can get crushed mustard seed, which we have.
Yeah, which by the
Where is
way,
it?
I mean, I love the taste of mustard, so I'm finding that it's a good
We just
additive.
bought a little bottle of it. It's kind of yellow like you'd expect
And
it to
it's
be.
powdery, so it's not actually seeds.
It's powder.
It's
And
ground.
so mustard is a cruciferous vegetable. You can eat mustard greens. So obviously their seeds have that enzyme in them, which means that you can chop your stuff, cook it, and then add this enzyme, and it'll still react with the chemical that's in it and give you sulforaphane, which is what it is you need. So get yourself some some mustard seeds. And broccoli sprouts, because you chew them, you get the response that way. So, and if you eat raw, kale or anything like that, when you chew it, it helps give you the sulforaphane. Hey, Allison, what are you saying to us? Soy milk, cream are okay, and how do you all feel about a microbiotic diet? So the microbiotic diet is a longer conversation than I can have here today. I don't really have a problem with soy milk creamer. The thing about creamer is it can have flavors, which we've talked about flavors before. They're not really things, they're chemicals. And they can have some, itchy nose, sorry. when they preservatives, couldn't find the word, had to search for it. So
no, I was just going to say, soy milk is fine if what you're getting is soy milk. And unfortunately, and we were just listening to the Dorito Effect last night some more, and he talks about when you get soy milk, you're usually getting a very small actual bit of soy milk and then all the other stuff they put in it to what they say will flavor it and make it so you buy it.
But to be fair, and this is what we say all the time, we're not looking for people to try and be 100% and hardcore and you have to do it. If you like soy milk in your coffee, drink soy milk.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say is just try to get the soy milk that has the least amount of ingredients. As we say with everything that's packaged.
Right.
Look, we like to say 4 or 5 or less ingredients is a good way to go. And there is soy milk out there, I'm sure you can find that have, 4 or 5 ingredients only.
And you can make your own almond milk, but again, it's, in the grand scheme of things, pick your battles, and I don't think that soy creamer is a battle that's really that
far
big of a
better
deal.
than dairy creamer.
Yeah,
far
absolutely.
better.
Absolutely. That's how I feel about that. So we are doing well, Deborah. Thank you for asking. I hope you are too.
Yes.
So that's what we talked about, the liver and the detoxing and all of that fun stuff. And then we talked about the distraction addiction on Wednesday. And that, again, went back to my psychology and pulled some of that out and talked about how as a culture, we are getting more and more distracted. The idea of just sitting and waiting is unfathomable. Like, people pull out their phones, can you imagine just sit? And so what happens is your brain gets in this space where there's always stuff, you're always having input coming in. And then the other thing that's happened is that the food company has convinced us that making food and eating food is inconvenient and they have to make it more convenient so we have more time to do other things. So basically, it's inconvenient for us to take care of our bodies, and so we have more time to be distracted by who knows what the devil we're doing. And what ends up happening is we have distracted eating, which means that you don't think about what you're actually putting in your mouth. And you end up in a situation where you're eating a lot of flavored calories that actually don't have very much nutrients in it. So your brain's like, that tastes like food, I should have more of that. And your body's like, I'm not getting any nutrients here, you gotta feed me more. And so you hear the word more in there, that's the problem.
It's the reason why you sit down to a bag of potato chips or Doritos or whatever and you eat the whole bag, because your brain's saying, these flavors say I should be getting all these nutrients. So obviously I need to eat more to get the nutrients.
But you're not, so then you need to eat more. And so you end up in this cycle where your body's like,
I'm confused.
This should have flavor, this should have nutrients in it. It tastes right, but then they're not there because it's engineered. And so that distraction, I think, is something we need to become aware of. And I gave you some tips, and I told you that we need to start, paying more attention, focusing more. And I told you I was reading a book, because I still do executive coaching. So obviously I stay up on the high performance, high executive coaching work. I also read books in that space. And I was thinking about how can I apply the tools that I use for my executive coaching clients to the nutrition space, because obviously they get nutrition coaching, so you guys should get executive coaching information too, right? Isn't that how it should work? And so I was thinking about focus and thinking and paying attention, and I asked you to make a list of the things that are important to you, the priorities in your life. And then I encourage you to consider, how long does it take you to write your health on that list? Because too often when I talk to someone about their priorities, I get tons of priorities about business and money and all these different things, and eventually they'll even get to family.
I was going to say, you might even get family.
Sometimes I even get family.
You never get health.
But almost never they get health. And what I found is that where health is on the list of priorities is directly inverted to how healthy they are. The healthier a person is, the less likely they are to think about their health, and the sicker a person is, the more likely they are to think about their health. So I would encourage you to think about your health, regardless of where you are on the spectrum of healthiness, and start being conscious of your eating rather than being distracted.
I mean, we both just got our blood work done, all that, and we're all, we're shining superstars.
Our doctors are like, you're the healthiest people we know.
Right. But yet we are always consciously thinking about our health. And it's not just, we don't do it just because of our health today. We do it because as we age and as we go through life, we want to stay healthy.
I told you, I'm going to live to be 110.
Right. And she's going to still be riding her bike for an hour when she's 110. I mean, that's the point. We want to keep being able to do the things that we like to do, no matter how old we get. Yeah. And there's no reason why you can't. I mean, you always see that rare person that's running a marathon at 80 years old or 90 years old. I mean, they had the Indian guy at 90 or 100 and something.
100 and something.
Was running a marathon, 26 and a half miles.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's the point, is I encouraged you to think about the addiction to distraction and what that's doing to your food choices, and this idea that eating is an inconvenience. Like, what is it about our culture that we've allowed corporate food to tell us that eating is an inconvenience, and let us just fix it for you? Yeah, they're not fixing it for us. They're not doing us any favors.
Yeah, it's time to take that back. We need to take our diet back, away from big food.
Absolutely, definitely. Make conscious choices about what we eat. And then yesterday we wanted to talk to you a little bit about dairy. I know we've talked a lot about dairy, but it's so important I wanted to talk about it again. We mentioned the casein that's been directly linked to cancer. And then we talked about the IGF-1, which is
Hormone?
a growth hormone. I can talk, really I can. It's a growth hormone that they give cows to up their milk production. And so if you're drinking milk, eating cheese, if you're ingesting dairy, first of all, I recommend you don't. But if you are, then I highly recommend that you do organic, because at least then you're not getting the extra hormone that they add. You're still getting pregnant cow hormones. You're still getting casein. You're still getting all of the stuff that's in milk that isn't super great for humans. But at least you're not getting extra stuff and the antibiotics and all of the other stuff that is in commercially produced milk. And I know that saying that limits kind of the amount of milk you can find and cheese you can find, because there's not a lot of organic options out there, but it's definitely the healthier option.
It's funny because I'm thinking to myself, okay, so what's number one for us as far as the thing you should definitely not eat as our number one no should do
That's
list?
so hard.
And I want to say it's bacon, but I'm not sure dairy is much better than that. So I think
eggs.
And eggs. So I think it's like 1A, 1B, and 1C, you know?
Right.
So that's just, it's the unfortunate thing, but that's where we are.
A lot of it's not great for you. So those were the things we talked about this week. I also asked you to pop over to our page and give us a review, give us a 5-star review, and let people know that we're doing good things here, because we do these every day for your health, not for ours. We already know this stuff. We live this every day, but we share it because we want you to know it. Mm-hmm. And if you can give our page reviews, 5-star reviews, it lets Facebook know, oh, they're doing something relevant. We should show it to people. Right. So we're got to work within Facebook's algorithm. So we asked you to do that. We also told you that our website, rnrjourney.com, has a lot of other content on it, a lot of exclusive content for members. If you're not a member, go over there and become a member at rnrjourney.com. We added the no tuna salad recipe yesterday, right?
Yes, we did.
So if you are a member, go there, go to Robin's Recipes, and the no tuna salad, you can make it a macaroni salad, is there, my recipe, which I will be making some of it today. I cooked with the beans yesterday, so I'll be doing that today. Make sure that you like and share and let other people know. And we are on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, obviously. Right. And our webinar is at howtofeedahuman.com, and we encourage you to take the time to watch that, because it'll give you some foundational knowledge about what to eat, when to eat, and why you eat. Kind of, there's some psychology in there that I think you would enjoy, and it'll give you access to the master class. Did I say everything we're supposed to say on Friday?
I think so.
All right, so we let these people get on with their day?
Yes.
All right.
All right. And so, with that, we will say, eat real food, mostly plants. Have a great day, guys.
Have a good one. We'll see you on Monday.
Yes, we will.